Hey guys and dolls, what's up? It is Wayward Dreams, and boy, do I have some fun in mind for you today, because we are going to be reviewing a terrible Netflix original movie together. Yay! I had to start with Bright, because even though it's already been out for a year, every time I think about it, I get so mad. I equate it to the anger that I get when I think about Final Fantasy 15, when Gladio leaves for some emergency, comes back and doesn't tell us where he's been, only that we need to get his ass some cup of noodles and murder a rare animal the size of a bus that could feed an orphanage, but we only carve off enough to put into 4 cups of noodles. Ugh. I'm sorry, I can't even deal with that shit. I couldn't look at cup of noodles for a week. So, my problem with Bright is that it actually could have been brilliant. I was so down for this freaking thing, right? I mean, you give me a modern-day D&D story, which, if you keep up with this kind of thing, is essentially a prequel for one of my favorite things ever, Shadowrun, which is cyberpunk on Lord of the Rings fantasy crap. Love it all. So, my husband and I, knowing that Netflix is full of a fair amount of Soros-funded propaganda, sit down to it thinking that it would contain a few of the usual Lifetime movie tropes and get on with itself. Nope, I couldn't have been more wrong. So, the opening went pretty okay. It was the usual Will Smith brand of humor, watching him try and kill a fairy messing with his TV. And I laughed. As a child from the 90s, Will Smith dealing with the gross and infuriating is funny. So, get over it. So then, the man goes outside, and sitting around devaluing his property that he's trying to sell are a bunch of gang-banging ass orcs. Obviously, they and he both find each other minorly annoying, but not enough to do much about the situation either way. And Will Smith, who actually plays Will Smith, plays an LAPD cop named Ward who is uneasy about his partner assignment with a very likable orc character named Nick Jacoby, who is apparently the first orc cop in the nation, whom both humans and orcs don't like because he's an orc but also he's the police. Which leads me to one of the biggest cruxes in the whole film. Apparently, there's like 9 races in this world, but Bright narrows in on 3. We have high elves, humans, and orcs, all of whom are insulting to the viewers, but not in the way you might think. I'm really not sure if this movie is telling us we're racist or if we're classist or both or what. It kind of fails to narrow that down by assigning each race an immutable class, implying not only that we don't like people of different races, but that each is doomed or blessed to be born into a class and cannot by their own merit rise or fall. I find this to be utter bullshit. So what you're saying, oh great Bright producers, is that people cannot grab their bootstraps and make it out of poverty? That we aren't able to gain a level of success purely out of race? Because if we're talking about classism alone, you'd still have the 3 sectors of LA down, but there would be varying members of each populace within. You can't tell me that there wouldn't be a Jay-Z orc in prestigious high elf Gucci land, blinged out with gold chains and girls on his arm? Oh no, because no orc can get success because we as a society hold people back because of race. No, we don't. Or we wouldn't have Will Smith saving every movie ever by playing Will Smith. So, meanwhile, you're telling us that, and yet, you have chosen to make Gucci Town high elves the rich, influential white people and the poverty-stricken, tagging, police-hating, monstrous-looking orcs into the black people. Do you see what you did there? Do you see what you just did, you closet racist morons? You made the white folks the inhumanly pretty ones and the black folks the inhumanly ugly ones. How about you take the diversity training that you shove down our throats every 2 minutes on the dot, quit patronizing us, we get it. Down here below you, you know, we know what racism looks like without you making it sound like an 80s high school movie about bullying on steroids. Nobody talks like that. I mean, I'm fine with handling sensitive subjects. We currently have a movie for that, and it was masterful. So watch American History X and come back to me when you can make me bawl like a baby. Which leads me to the blue-collar guys of the group, humans. It's kind of a mishmash. It's supposed to represent, I think, the rest of us chickens that don't fit in anywhere. But still, because diversity training told me so 20 more times in the first half hour alone, we're just as racist as the one on the extreme that ends. Speaking of, in a magical world where everyone is racist, there must be magical extremism groups. One such is called the Shield of Light, which I kept waiting over here for this extremism group to do something extreme besides maybe have a safe house and a cardboard prophet hobo. But that was basically it. I thought something really cool could have been done with a group prophesying the return of some Dark Lord thing that apparently the orcs worshipped, but the Inferni elves wanted to bring back for whatever reason that remained kind of unclear. But it remained an unwrapped gift to themselves. Instead, inside of a safe house, they decided to give themselves the gift of Tika, our main Mary Sue, who I refuse to call Tika because I think Lulu Dallas Multipass fits a lot better. Have you guys seen this movie? Tell me honestly, didn't you get a Fifth Element vibe from all this? Anyway, I call her as such because her trite little ass has to flip absolutely everywhere she goes, her legs refuse to do that running motion thing, refuses to speak English like any Asian nail salon ever, and is the savior of everything up to and including being a elven wand holster that can resurrect the dead. And she's not the only elf flipping everywhere either. The bad guy elves do it too. I kind of imagine some bad D&D game where the players are like, okay, alright, if I get a niche, I'm gonna flip on this guy's head and I'm gonna land on that ledge. And if they don't see me, I'm gonna flip over all their heads with this thing in my hand. Why, dude? Seems like a waste of energy. And the other dude's like, race trait, right there. I get a +2 on my acrobatics. All of the elves do, save blue-haired John Travolta elf, who is too busy looking serious and heading up the FBI's division of magical bullshit. I kept waiting for him to bust out some insane stuff, because apparently he's had enough run-ins with this Inferni Illuminati group where now it's personal, but he'd rather just look serious and leave us juggling for resolution on whether or not the FBI is even considered a good thing in this world. Wow, I guess that point is pretty accurate. The useless fucks. So then we find out that every race and every gang on every turret wants these stupid wands, like the 9 rings of power, because as we know, nobody can resist them, and they blow you up if you aren't worthy, and if you put them all together, they summon Sauron and shit. But individually, they can make your house into candy, so everyone will take the chance on that kind of a thing. And by the way, I'm not going to go into the whole plot because that would be stupid. I'm just highlighting the things that made me want to hit my head on a wall. So, Lulu Dallas runs around everywhere with a black guy and an orc that's also supposed to be a black guy trying to avoid the evil Lady Gaga assassin team, so they don't try and find the wand, while John Travolta does his best David Duchovny impression staring at mysterious carnage. The police force try and convince Will Smith, portrayed by Will Smith, to help them to conspire to get his really nice orc partner fired from the force because racism and that diversity training thing didn't work. And the orcs really hate the orc cop for being the police and turning on his brothers, and then there's some magic BS at the end, and of course Will Smith is a bright that can use that stupid wand. At least enough to blow up Lady Gaga elf. Then he and his partner Jack B exit the burning building in time for the orcs to give Jacoby some mad community respect. And then they have the whole Men in Black, I hate you too ending. And also, how did Lulu Dallas Multipass live at the end? Where we could see her in the crowd later? We don't know. We'll never know. Storytelling BS. And you know what really burns my bacon? To be honest, I got put through all of that. The patronizing cheese that could have been freaking awesome. And then Will Smith has the audacity not to wrap me out at the end of a cheeseball Will Smith movie. Now, I realize I just spent 10 minutes shitting on Bright, but I did it because I believe it really had potential. It was a new storyline, it had a great premise, the special effects makeup was phenomenal. I just wish that the execution would have had more patience, more trying to fill in the holes and the gaps that were in the story so that I could actually understand what was going on instead of going, yeah, this looks almost like James Cameron stuff. Right the fuck on. But I wish it would have been less patronizing. I really can feel almost any time that you start trying to shove agenda down my face. I don't like it. We're pretty good at recognizing that there are hard topics to deal with. and we can do so in a far less obvious way. I think you have a pretty low idea of what your viewers are like, and there's no subtlety when it comes to your storytelling, and I feel that is really, really bad writing, number one. Number two, I don't appreciate that you guys pretty much insulted absolutely everybody that has watched this, whether or not they caught it, while you're kind of propping yourselves up and being extremely racist, might I add. Like, really racist. So, for the fact that you've told me that most of America is what you are, that just clarifies to me the lens that you see out of. And I don't think that that's how people see. I think that's how you see. And then you have to project your hatred onto us so that we'll stay divided and you'll have money in your wallet because you really speak to us, lowly peasants. Gosh, you really get us, don't you? Fucks. You know, I'm really kind of mourning not being able to call this my Shadowrun prequel. It just wasn't meant to be, baby. It's not you, it's me. No, wait, it was definitely you. So, oh great bright producers in the sky, if you're listening to this at all, or, you know, if anybody out there is listening to this, I really am demanding a little bit more quality content. You can address things that are difficult to tackle and still be graceful about it. You don't have to insult our intelligence to do it. An ADD person would have gotten sick of the amount of times that you have said diversity training in the first third alone. I don't think anybody is going to hear anything but the Peanuts adult voice, like wah, 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 after a little while, because I don't think you could get any more obvious with that kind of a thing. So there it is. That is Bright to me in 10 minutes, and if you'd like to hear my takes on anything else, you can find on either Netflix or Amazon. I'll get my propaganda wading boots on for you. If you leave a comment below and tell me what you want to hear me talk about, I will check it out and hopefully be able to hit you back with my grand, terrible, terrible interpretation later. If you guys are still interested in the raffle, it's still going on. Check the description below for the rules, and I will see you guys next time.